Hi friends, it's Mrs. Johnson. I'm here today to share a story with you from one of my favorite authors, Arnold Lobel. It's from the book Frog and Toad Are Friends. On the back of the book, Arnold Lobel shares with us that this book has 5 different stories in it. Today I'm going to read one of my favorites called A Lost Button. Toad and Frog went for a long walk. They walked across a large meadow. They walked into the woods. They walked along the river. At last they went back home to Toad's house. "Oh, drat," said Toad. "Not only do my feet hurt, but I have lost one of the buttons on my jacket." "Oh no, that's not good, is it? I wonder what they're going to do." "Don't worry," said Frog. "We will go back to all the places where we walked. We will soon find your button." They walked back to the large meadow. They began to look for the button in the tall grass. That's one of the things I do know about Frog and Toad, is they help each other out a lot. Let's see what they find. "Here is your button," cried Frog. "That is not my button," said Toad. "That button is black. My button was white." Toad put the black button in his pocket. Looks like they didn't find the button yet. A sparrow flew down. That's a bird. "Excuse me," said the sparrow. "Did you lose a button? I found one." "That is not my button," said Toad. "That button has 2 holes. My button had 4 holes." Toad put the button with the 2 holes in his pocket. He's putting all those buttons in his pocket. I wonder what he's going to do with them. They went back to the woods and looked on the dark paths. "Here's your button," said Frog. "That is not my button," cried Toad. "That button is small. My button was big." Toad put the small button in his pocket. Now he's got 3 buttons in his pocket. I wonder what they're going to do. A raccoon came out from behind a tree. "I heard that you were looking for a button," he said. "Here is one that I just found." "That is not my button," wailed Toad. "That button is square and my button was round." Toad put the square button in his pocket. He's filling those pockets up. He's not very happy either, because the author said he wailed. That means he cried. Frog and Toad went back to the river. They looked for the button in the mud. "Here's your button," said Frog. "Oh, that is not my button," shouted Toad. "That button is thin. My button was thick." Toad's getting really frustrated. Let's see what happens. Toad put the thin button in his pocket. He was very angry. He jumped up and down and screamed, "The whole world is covered with buttons and not one of them is mine." He's not happy, is he? He really wants his button. Toad ran home and slammed the door. There on the floor he saw his white, 4-hole, big, round, thick button. "Oh," said Toad, "he was here all the time. What a lot of trouble I have made for my friend Frog." He did make some trouble for his friend. They spent a lot of time looking for that button. I wonder what Toad's going to do. Toad took all of the buttons out of his pocket. He took his sewing box down from the shelf, and he sewed the buttons all over his jacket. The next day, Toad gave his jacket to Frog. Frog thought that it was beautiful. He put it on and jumped for joy. None of the buttons fell off. Toad had sewed them on very well. That was a nice thing to do. What a good friend Frog and Toad are, aren't they? Can you think of some things that you've done with your friends or for a friend that you might want to share? Take some time to talk with your mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, brothers or sisters today, and think about all the special things that you do together as friends and family. Have a good day.